Hi again everyone, Dave Johnston again with AggressiveFun. Today we're doing one of the maybe consider more mundane kind of things, but definitely something that we run into a lot, which is a vacuum cleaner repair. And I say that because they're so mechanical. There's so much going on there. You got belts, you got beater bars, you got a motor that creates the suction, you got bags, you got all kinds of stuff going on there. Electrically, there's a lot going on. So I have an Eureka Boss Precision Model 4336. That's the specific one, and that's what I purchased the belt for. And it turns out, I'll show you here in a minute, the bag that the belt comes in. The same belt covers a huge number of models, and I'll show you that here in a second. So let's take a look at the unit itself. Eureka Precision Boss upright. It's the more economical unit. It's definitely not an expensive unit. It's been a real workhorse though and has worked really well. But it has an issue down with the beater bar not rotating. I'll show you that real quick. This guy just doesn't want to move it. It kind of sputters along, and the thinking is that the belt has gone bad. Now, typically, if this thing is froze up, it would indicate that the bearings on each end have seized up or have gone bad. But the fact that this still moves indicates that that's not the problem here. This has never been worked on, never had a repair. It's lots of years old, and the thinking is that the belt has just gone bad. So that's what we'll tear into right now. Before I do, let me quickly turn this on. So I'm all plugged in now, so let me quickly turn this on and we'll see how it functions. So you can see the bar just does not want to spin. Should be going that direction. It will move a little bit once I get it to go, but it does not want to rotate. Okay, back in the work area here, I have the belts here that I mentioned to you. These are dirt cheap. You get 2 in a pack and it was $5, so you can't beat that at all. And it says down here, hopefully you can see that, there are all of those model numbers, which, if I can read them, you've got AS 1000, AS 1050, AS 2000, tons of numbers here, and I'll include all of those numbers in the comments. And then mine comes in, there's a 4100 to a 4700. That's where mine, the 4336, is at. Okay, so 4336 is what I'm working on today. Right here is the actual belt number itself, which is 61120G. And you get 2 belts even though you're only using 1. So it's like they knew what they were doing because the belts go bad. Makes sense. Like I said, it's a mechanical thing. That's the workhorse, the belt, the beater bar, and the motor that drives that, along with the motor that creates the suction. Those are the major pieces, and they're all mechanical with respect to the thing operating. So not a surprise that that's what would wear out. So let's get this positioned here so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, this is pretty straightforward as far as removing all of this. There are, up here on top, there's a screw on this side and there's a screw on this side, so I'll take those out first. They're both Phillips. Well, I guess you could use Phillips or a straight blade. They've made it universal that way. those out. And then this, oh, wrong angle. This cover comes off. And you can see the belt right here. Well, this guy. And as I turn the beater bar, you can see it slipping right here. And then it goes up on this end, it goes around the motor itself. So what we'll do is this bar just pops up and out, which it does. And then the motor back here on the motor shaft, you'd be able to just slide it off. Now, when I first saw this, my first reaction was, this guy is way too small. There must be some pulley or plastic piece or something that goes over the top of that. I believe it's a 1/4 inch shaft. But it turns out, they tell me no. It's just strictly the belt that goes over the top of that. Now, you can see how worn the belt is. In fact, it sat there and started to degrade. It's old enough that it's got some really bad spots on it. So I'm trusting the lady at the repair store that it's just the belt. Now, the only markings I see here, there's the dots and a 50-00 right there, and there's nothing else to read there. I guess that's the way all of it is. 50-00 is what's on that belt. And if I grab this new one, again, you get 2 of them. Put that one aside. This says 13-15, and it's way smaller in diameter. Hopefully you can see the difference there. New versus old. Now, my first response is, oh, this is the wrong size, but keep in mind, this old one is wore out, and you could see how stretched it is a pretty good indication as to why it wasn't working anymore. It just became way too loose. So that one, history. Whoops, didn't go very far. Okay. I don't know of any special technique to get this put back on there. What I'll do is I'll put it around the small shaft to begin with, and then put it around the beater bar. Now, oh, one thing before I put this together, the beater bar on the ends are the bearings, so these should really freely turn. If they don't, you know that your beater bar is bad and you'll need to get a new beater bar. These feel pretty good, both ends of these. And we've got some, as you always have with vacuum cleaners, we got some hair, you want to get that off of there. Any other debris that's around, make sure it's as clean as you can make it. And then, you know, I bet there's some secret sauce here with respect to these dots, especially here, that you can see where it has deformed the pattern. You have that pattern, you have this pattern that's a little more intact, but it's still kind of messed up. And then you have this pattern with the stars that is the brand new pristine. So clearly they're using that to indicate when there's something, you know, seriously defective with the belt. So I'm going to go with that. So if I put that on, there's a lot of force here, but I'm going to just pull it get it to come down back in place. I'll put this one, well, let me back up here again. There are square pegs on each end of this, and those square pegs fit into the slots. There's one here, and then there's one on this side here that you can't see very well. Well, you want to make sure that you line up those square pegs so that your bearings don't spin when it's actually operating. So we will put this back like so. Hold this guy so that the square one on this end matches up and looks good. And then I'll pull one on this end and make it so that this square matches up and wants to slide down in where it belongs. Like so. And that snap is a good sound. That means you got it in there. It does spin. You want to check that. Make sure that everything spins freely. The belt looks good. The motor's turning up here, so all of that's a good indication that you got it in there the right way. Okay. Don't see anything else. It goes all the way down. Don't see anything else that we need to cover. So with that, take this cover, put it back in place where it belongs. I've got this it's kind of a gasket. I guess it helps when you're running into walls and stuff to be a little bit soft. It's got a groove. You want to make sure that this groove fits back in to place on the cover so that the cover will close all the way like it's supposed to. That one's down. And on this side, make sure that it that side is right. Okay. Those are in place, and then you may want to take a screwdriver and make sure that it's seated all the way with that strip that goes around the front. Once you have that in place where it goes, like so, and you're ready to screw these two screws back into place. And there's the completed unit. Voila! If you look at the beater bar and you move it with your fingers, it still moves, and it has the friction. Not really friction, but the resistance of the motor. You can feel that it's tight, but it moves smoothly. Then that's normal, and that's good. And while it's sitting right here, I will plug it in, and we will see. Oh, there you go. Now, a word of caution. When I showed you before when I plugged it in, very bad idea to put your fingers down in here. I shouldn't have had them down in there before to try to make it move. But I did know that it wasn't going to move because of what I had already observed in trying to determine what was wrong. But obviously now you can see it works normally, and you don't want to have your fingers down there at all. Okay. Alright, there you have it. Fixed Eureka Boss Precision Boss upright vacuum cleaner. If you've got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below the video. And as usual, please subscribe, please like, please comment. We'd love to get feedback, and we'd love to spread the word, help other people with their repairs. And hopefully this covers, if you have this exact model, hopefully that's pretty straightforward. If you don't have this exact model, hopefully it was helpful with respect to other Eureka vacuum cleaners, because there's so many of them and they are similar. The repair lady at the store that I went to get the belts asked me about the belt being in the center, and this one doesn't have a belt in the center. It's on the side. So that's a distinguishing feature of this type of Eureka vacuum cleaner, if anybody asks you while you're trying to get belts and things, that sort of thing. So again, please subscribe, follow, like, leave comments. We appreciate all of those things. Hopefully you got some useful information out of this video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.